Welcome aboard to F1 24. It is time for preseason. The first event of RPL F1 24 comes at the last day of May 2024. As always, I'm your commentator, Ryan Searles, and alongside me later on will be the four-time Tier 2 champion, Eoin. And that is where we start off for everything. Tier 2 preseason for RPL. We've got quite a bit going on so far to kick off F1 24. Just after F1 23 has ended as well. Now it's time to find out which driver will be fastest in testing, will be fastest at the start of the game cycle, will be the favorite for Season 13 of Tier 2. Already through 12 seasons, we've had 8 different champions, 12 different runner-ups. Let's find out what this season will have in store for us. Of course, this is where things will start before we all get everything going in just a few weeks' time. Obviously, we'll be figuring it out when the handling model does get an update. So yeah, it will be very interesting indeed. We got 13 drivers for our preseason event, quite a low grid, but I guarantee you though, this will be much higher once the season starts, especially considering we still have drivers yet to get the game. We still have drivers, as of currently right now, downloading the game. Not only do we have drivers downloading the game as well, but others will end up figuring it out come race 1. So, let's give you a little bit of rundown. For preseason, with our first event, we are at Spa, and there has been a lot of changes to the circuit. I mean, a lot. It's got completely rescanned, reprofiled. The only issue with it is that the DRS boards are a little bit off from where the DRS gets enabled, but as you may see in a Rouge and Radeon, there's an area that's opened up quite a bit. The exit to turn 1 is a lot tighter. Not as much runoff in certain areas, more runoff in other areas. There's a lot of things to look forward to with this circuit that we will be getting in store on F1 24. Not only will we be getting this circuit on F1 24 that's been changed, but a few others. Qatar is one of them. France has been binned off. There's been the potential rumor of Germany coming back with audio files suggesting that that will be the case. You've got a lot of things as well for the league that is changing throughout time as well. We're going to look at the first car going out and see if we can pick them up while we talk about it. Who is the first car going out? I think that's a McLaren. And it is. It's Patrick F1. We'll talk about him in a moment, but as for right now, let's talk about some of the headlines, changes, everything you need to know in terms of the off-season from F1 23 to F1 24, and everything else that will be enabled for RPL as a whole, whether it be Tier 2, other tiers. Let's go over it. We have a Tier 3 being activated on this game, and it will be very interesting to see how that works. Some of these drivers who are competing in tonight's event will be competing in Tier 3, but they are full-time reserves in Tier 2. This shall be interesting to see how those guys tackle things. A lot of drivers who were originally signed to Tier 2 seats did end up dropping down to Tier 3, whether it be for better competition, whether it be for maybe get themselves in the groove of things. The team needed them to. Couldn't make the Tier 2 times. Couldn't deal with the new Tier 2 assists. That's another thing as well we'll talk about at some point this season. RPL F2 is also coming back. That'll be tomorrow for their preseason event. Hunted is still the Tier 2 coordinator. We know that. Spa, like we mentioned, it has been updated. We'll talk about that on the hot laps. Something that you may have also noticed that's been changed on this game is the ERS system. You can see on the bottom of our screen, it looks a little bit different. It also feels a little bit different. It also handles a little bit different. There's a lot of things to factor in with that ERS management that will be much different from previous F1 games. Handling is one thing as well that will be updated too. We'll watch out for that in the coming bits. Like I said, some Tier 2 drivers are moving down to Tier 3. You'll also notice a lot of drivers having more lockups compared to usual. And now we'll get a lap going with Patrick F1. Patrick F1 has not raced in RPL since the very beginning of last game cycle in Tier 2. Got a few good results back then. Wasn't all perfect for Patrick, but right now we're going to ride on board with him. Turn 1, you have a lot more runoff area with gravel and grass closer to the track. Now this area to the left side, look at how much more area there is up a Rouge and Radion. Even our left side and right side right here when you get to Radion. Now the DRS gets enabled a little bit earlier. You can see Patrick is on a hot lap in terms of where he's on the ERS. Down the Kemmel Straight into Sector 2. He's got a 31.6. Look at this area as well. A lot more gravel closer to the circuit. Right here, you're going to probably let off or brake just a tad bit and then get back on the gas to find extra rotation. Right here before No Name, a little bit different. No Name there if you want to get out of the way and go use that runoff area when letting other cars go. It's a good place to do so this game. A little change there. Here's Puan just about flat. I think if you send it in there the way you can most of the time in this game, it will be flat out for the drivers. Just depends on your setup. Right here, a lot more tighter. Different areas closed off. That curbing can be a killer, so you got to be careful with it. You can see someone's put gravel on the track already, but Patrick F1 just sitting it right in there. 15.2. Again, this is another area where there's been a lot of area closed off or opened up, but it's been closed off in terms of bringing gravel closer to the track. It's been closed off in terms of some of the homes right there taken away. Got a car he's approaching. That's the Academy teammate right there. Again, you can see the difference in the runoff area. This will be an area where drivers will slide. You have to be careful on the traction. You have to be careful with the rear and the way it snaps. 75% to end the lap on his battery, but he is going to be our benchmark time with a 43.8. Then RPL Jordan, a good friend of Patrick F1's, goes and beats that. RPL Jordan, one of the drivers who are going to be the Tier 3 drivers when it comes to RPL this game cycle. Who else do we have on a lap? We've got Make PK, who returned to RPL last season as well. Currently on a lap. I've been pinged. Let's see. Don't think so. Let's just see. I will invite Eoin now. Tadpole goes fastest, Hunt set a time, so it's the 2 Ferraris and 2 McLarens. Here comes Make PK to go 4th fastest. So it'll be very interesting to see how the drivers do end up managing their ERS on laps. Let's give Eoin an invite now. I don't know if he accepts the other 2. Let's file, verify. Well, we'll give him one. We'll give him one. SV, he's starting a lap. This should be interesting to watch from the Alpine driver. All right. 90% on the battery already by turn 1. We're going to go through a hot lap here. You can see very different on the turning. And now as you see, oh, he slides and he's around. Oh, no. It's our first spin of F1 24. And it's the full-time Tier 3 driver. Don't come back on the track like that. That could have been catastrophic for RPL Ardell. As you may know him as ERS Ardell. That would have been very...
Could have been very bad.
Catastrophic. FBL sets 8th fastest. Hello, Eoin.
Tapping out the thing here. It is working.
Let's see. I'm going to refresh.
It is working.
And find out if it's working. It is working?
Yes.
Good. Alright. Well, Eoin, you're a 4-time Tier 2 champion. You see 13 drivers in this session. You see that 2 of them are champions, Tadpole and Hunted. What do you have to tell them being a 4-time Tier 2 champion if you are the one in this preseason event like they are as champion?
I don't know, mate. Preseason, to just learn the game. We're basically here just to see that the game works okay and it's not going to blow up or doing anything.
Very true. Very true.
Learn the game, try and see if where you compare to the rest of the opposition.
Yeah, we've got interesting drivers on this grid. We'll talk about our full grid, but we'll talk about some of the drivers first in this lobby before we get to a hot lap from JTK. Born in Shanghai, did quite a few starts on last game. Didn't do too many at the end of the game cycle. He'll be in Tier 3, but he's a Tier 2 reserve. A lot of the guys we can say that for. Well, JTK, the vice champion, he's going to start a lap. We'll take us through it in just a moment. But I just want to talk about JTK in a better car this time around in Tier 2. in the Red Bull, having a shot at the Drivers' Championship this time. He's the vice champion from last season. First off, he'll get a little slipstream from teammate Ardell going up Rouge and Radion. We'll see how that goes. But this area, like I said, opened up a lot more space. If you end up crashing, you might not end up DNFing. Right now, DRS applied for the Dutch driver, getting slipstream from Ardell. And as we head to Sector 2, let's see what it's going to be.
I'm watching the stream at the moment. I'm like 2 seconds behind, so I'm just going to use this for the time being. See, just comes out of the light calm section into the hairpin now.
Little slide.
It's very wobbly.
Little slide. Let me give you an invite to the session. Do you need it through
not even on the game, love.
Well, I'll give you an invite to have at least.
It's taken forever for the files to verify.
Gotcha. I'm gonna ask Titan what he did with the co-commentator mic to get it fixed last week, because he got it fixed with the less staticiness during Brazil last week. I am curious as to what that will end up requiring. But yeah, JTK currently on a lap. We're gonna resume with this while we keep an eye on things. Mentoki fastest. Like you said, Eoin, it's just a test, so we shall see how the drivers do end up handling it. Across the line now is JTK, the vice champion of Tier 2 last season, across the line to go fastest, 41.5. It seems like the Dutch driver has been handling this quite well. We'll go on board with Ardell. But yeah, it doesn't always do that with the co-commentator mic, to answer you guys in the Twitch chat. It's usually inconsistent, but recently it's been quite bad with how many times it's done that. I don't know why. I'm gonna try to figure that out before F2 tomorrow. The good thing is, though, you guys can hear Eoin. That's a good thing. Ardell using overtake on his lap, and he's almost out of battery. I think what he's gonna do here would be the smart thing, because you can use overtake in qualifying now, is turn the ERS down to medium on this lap. He's going a bit wide and into the kitty litter, and somehow he didn't invalidate. I'm not sure how. You can see a major lockup on the left front right there, and he had to correct the slide, and he's gonna usually, if others do so, back out of it, but now he's sliding again, and he's still not backing out of it. I'm surprised Ardell is not backing out of this one after the amount of counter slides he's had to do.
He's acclimatized to the handling model. He's having a stinker on the rear downforce, clearly.
That is true, and this is the interesting thing about this game, Eoin. You're going to have to send it into some corners in qualifying. You're going to have to learn the ERS management quite different. And, of course, once we get the new handling update, which will be in about a few weeks' time, drivers will have to tackle that too.
Let him cook.
Let's see, who is starting a lap here? SV's close to one. Belugagi's now not out on the track. Red Fire Tiger's on the track, and he has just gone a little wide and somehow didn't validate. I'm going to already question this game's track limit system. I've had a few encounters myself with it, but now he goes into poo on Red Fire Tiger. Again, sending the car in there. And here we go to this section right here at the end of the sector where, like I said, a bit closed up. Grass and gravel closer to the track. And you see 5th gear, 6th gear through there. 65% on the battery. A little lockup, it looked like. Couldn't tell if that was accurate. 15.5 though, in the middle sector. And the thing I've noticed with Spa, in terms of the way you handle this track, I mean, throughout your qualifying lap, sending it will always be a big thing in order to find time. More so at this track than the other tracks. Yes, you have to send it anyways. You have to throw the car in there and end up doing well. But you saw Red Fire Tiger jump the curb as he sent the car in there, and it affected him almost to where he would have spun out. But he got to the line just in time for 9th fastest. I think that's Patrick F1 behind him. It is Patrick F1. You saw him almost get blocked by Red Fire Tiger, who got out of the way. I'm going to tell people right now, and I want your thoughts on this. From turn 1, as we brought on board with Patrick F1, who's going through Rouge and Radion now, there's an area in the gravel right there. I showed a few people this. You might not be aware of it. You may be aware of it, though. Where there's area out of turn 1 where there isn't gravel and drivers can use it if they get forced off there. It shall be interesting to see if any of them do choose to use it, as Patrick F1 is invalidated.
What a silly goose. It's actually really easy to invalidate at some corners. For some reason, I've noticed on Twitter and stuff, people have, it looks like they're still on track, but they get invalidated because only one of their wheels is on track.
I have seen that happen to a few people, yeah. SV goes 11th fastest. Kipu is also on a lap. Let's look at SV. This is the area I'm talking about in the gravel, right there, where there's that runoff where you can re-enter safely. Kipu is coming across the line, and he will be 11th fastest, just ahead of the teammate. Blue Goggy's on an out lap, and we'll go on board with him when he does start a lap, the most recent Tier 2 podium sitter. Oh, he was off majorly. We're going to go over the driver lineup for Tier 2 before we get to these end of the session hot laps. And I want your thoughts here, Eoin, on these lineups that we have for Tier 2 this upcoming season. Red Bull have JTK and Ardell. Ferrari have Tadpole and Dill JG. Mercedes have Wavy and Mentaki. McLaren have Hunted and Bino. Aston Martin have Redfire and Nathan. Alpine have Kipu and Patrick. VCarb have Blue Goggy and William. Sauber have Polo God and JNT Gaming. Haas have Lando and Logan, which is Lajovic. And Williams, I'm pretty sure they only have Make PK. I could be wrong. He might have been put to Tier 3 since then. What kind of sparks your eye?
Well, after the performance in the last race of the season last season, Bill JG obviously will be a driver to keep an eye on in the Ferrari. Obviously JTK in the Red Bull. P2 in the championship last season, wants to make sure he can win it this year or season. Interested on the Mercedes lineup. Mentaki, I think she'll do really well, but I don't know why Wavy is in the top car. But we'll see if a spin for Goggy. We'll see if Wavy is cracked this game or not.
Yeah, very true. Very true. We don't have anybody to go on board with a hot lap right now because Blue Goggy had his malfunction right there at the chicane. But Hunted will be the one up next. He's the tier coordinator. Hunted, Season 10 champion, Eoin. What do we kind of expect from him after a 2-season drought and wins?
Don't even have a clue, son. I generally have no clue in the pace on this game. Like, I think
Neither do
it'll
I.
be... well, I think it'll be really different because in my little practice lobbies, Darius, what's his name? Lorenzo Di Alighieri. Yes, he's been absolutely marvelous in his little test sessions, and that was in a Sauber.
Yeah, that's true. He has. I saw Gecko is one who was up there on the times quite a bit. There's surely been a few others as well. Minico has quite the experience with this game, to say the least. I'd say Reese Dainty is someone who will probably do a lot better at the game cycle in the beginning this time around. There's a lot of guys I think who will benefit at the start. Florian was one who was really fast, but hey, like we always say, Eoin, with this current game cycle, with the handling we have, don't get too used to it, because it's not staying for too long. Here comes Hunted on a lap. Are you in the session by chance? All right. Well, before you get into it, we're going to go over our hot lap on Hunted's onboard. I'll have you take it away. Turn 1, a little bit on the inside curve compared to the outside curve. Now he's going to duck to the right here and have a super clean run up to a Rouge and Radion, but he went just a tad bit left and invalidated himself. That is going to be it for Hunted unless he gets back around to the checker flag just in time, and I think he just might. Blue Goggy is one who just went a little too wide right there, and I don't know if he invalidated. I don't think he did, but he looks just fine. I'm surprised by that track limit lack of violation right there from Blue Goggy. Patrick F1 we're going to go on board with then before we get to our pole sitters. Upper Rouge, up Radion. Look at this, stuck in 8th gear. DRS now using his overtake button just for a split second here, And I have noticed on this game, using your overtake button, even just for a split second, is a lot more effective than previous games. 31-1 in the middle sector, or sorry, first sector from Patrick F1, 5/10 up in the time. I mean, look at how far this field has been spread. Oh, and surely these guys will improve.
I mean, there's 3 seconds from the back to the top, so there's no way that's going to stay the exact same. I don't know if the fuel spread is that big on this game between the car's performance, but I suppose we'll find out at the end of this quality session.
Puan now going through up yellow flags. That is in the pit lane or the front straight. I don't know who that is, but we've got Patrick F1 going to be the first ones of the competitive drivers to complete a lap. Let's see if Hunted can make the checker flag. He invalidated the previous lap, and he's just barely got a lap in time. Fair play to Hunted getting back in just in time. Patrick F1, 1.2 up on the times. He's going to set himself up to the top 6 if he completes this lap, just behind the teammate of Hunted. And for Patrick F1, we've not seen quite a few starts from him since, I want to say, August of last year. At the very start of this game cycle. August, September area, back on F123. He's back in Tier 2 for preseason, and he's back up in a competitive spot, P5 in that McLaren. You got the Astons who are on laps. Further back, Tadpole up by 4/10. Jordan, I couldn't see where he was there. JTK has invalidated. That will be big. Jordan up by only 55 thousandths. We'll find out what those guys do at the checkered flag. Make PK is aborting the lap and heading to the pit lane. We have Born in Shanghai, who had a little wiggle wobble out of the final corner, and he'll go ahead of the teammate. Next up are the Ferraris. Tadpole first. Tadpole will go to the front row. Jordan further behind. Was it a mistake from Jordan? Is that why he's taking forever to get to the checker flag? No, he found time in the last sector, 3/10 up. We got Red Fire Tiger in the Mercedes. Red Fire Tiger is 7th. Next up is FBL, who made quite a few starts to end out last game cycle. He's 13th. And JTK, along with Ardell, will cross the line next. Ardell is 8th. And our last runner, Blue Goggy. His first ever laps on this game. Not the greatest, but it's learning. It's learning for the driver from Malta. And he's now 4.5 seconds off the pace. And another thing to mention as well through this session, Mintoki crashed out. We have Hunted sliding in the final corner now. 10th down. I don't think he'll improve unless it's at the last moment and a small margin. It is a small margin. 2/10 he found at the last sector.
Nice one, Bush.
So Mintoki says, as she has found out, if you lose your rear wing, you are screwed.
Yuck.
I don't think that's too much of a shock, but in terms of maybe the effectiveness is a shock. But JTK, should we call him the favorite for this season? Even though it's just preseason? I think he is.
What's that Red Bull suit, by the way? Where's all the logos in the suit?
Interesting.
Well,
JTK, yeah, he's fastest. Tadpole, the season 7 champion, is 2nd. Mintoki is 3rd. RPL Jordan, who returns to RPL, is 4th. Hunted, the season 10 champion, 5th. And you got Patrick, Red Fire, Ardell, Shanghai, and Make PK running up the top 10. Also something to pick up on before we get to the formation lap, which I believe we have on. This should be interesting, though, because I've noticed, Owen, on the track map, whether it's through our spectator cam or the driver's point of view, the Haas and Ferrari have basically the same exact color. You can't tell
it's really
them apart.
I don't know why they've gone for that one. In real life, the Haas's color is white. And all the stuff like that.
Oh, it's raining. Oh, okay. It is raining in the event. This is going to be lovely. Wow. All right.
My computer.
Owen, are you in the game yet?
Oh, my game's it's taken forever. I don't think it's gonna be finished in time.
Alright. Alright, we'll find out. You have the stream point of view, so that's not too bad. Formation lab. Let me just double check if it's on. But Owen, the start for preseason, it's gonna be wet. How will the drivers tackle this, considering we have a lot of drivers who've done dry practice, but probably not a lot of wet practice?
I think it's gonna be quite annoying for us because I'm not gonna know the actual pace differences, how good people actually are, because it's wet.
Alright, we've got the formation lap on. Safety car is on as well. Got few things on. Of course, it's preseason, so we're going to test it out, but we'll get a formation lap here, which is a good thing. Oh, it actually highlights it quite well on the new game. So I want to talk through a few things with this game that I have noticed. This is very interesting. This is a split between inters and wets in the start. Oh boy. Well, I'll tell you what I do notice in terms of updates to this game, since I've been absolutely shocked by the update where it says formation lap instead of lap 0 this time. Wow, it's really wet. I will notice a lot of things and pointed out. Owen, you've been aware of this throughout the first few days of the game cycle, but one of the things I've noticed from the spectator cam, and this will be helpful for you guys, especially in terms of stewarding clips, the stream itself, you'll see in this game you'll get a lot more diverse views in comparison to last game, a lot more broader aspects in broadcast cam. You may have noticed that when we first started the formation lap, that there's a brand new camera angle in the broadcast section that we didn't really have at certain parts of the circuit before. Now we have that, and you'll start to notice that as we go through a lot of these circuits this weekend. We have F2 preseason tomorrow at Qatar, F1 preseason in Silverstone, and of course Tier 3 in Spain. You'll see the newer camera angles that get shown on screen. Well, like I mentioned, we have RPL Tier 3, we've got RPL F2, that's the nice thing, but I think Tier 2 is an interesting tier to watch, Eoin, because a lot of drivers will be going down to Tier 3, but be reserving the Tier 2 still. However, others are either returning drivers or brand new newcomers in this league. Bino still technically I can call him new. I think it's fair to say Patrick F1's a returning driver, Polo God's a returning driver, Lando Norris a returning driver. Got quite the grid here this season, to say the least.
Yes,
Owen,
very. Yes, sorry,
yeah,
I was just processing what you were saying. Well, yeah, the only real good drivers missing is JNT got a contract, or is he back
Yes,
there?
he does. Teammates at Sauber at Polo God.
Okay, so he's not in the top cars. But yeah, the top car lineups I'd say are pretty good. You know, the Mercs, the Red Bulls, the McLarens, the Ferrari, especially with Tadpole. Expecting him to be giving a challenge to Mr. JT Kane if he, gets stuck in correctly. But yes, also at the bottom of the field, you got some decent drivers. Blue Gog, if he can get his pace back up to what like last game. In the end, he was showing quite good promise.
If you don't mind me cutting in.
Really?
We got quite a bit of tire changes here, which should be interesting to seeing what happens here on the run to turn 1 and the first lap as a whole. Inters versus wets. A wet preseason event at Spa is about to kick underway for our first hurrah on F1 24. Lights out, away we go. And off the line, you can see them just trembling at slow speed, trying to figure out the traction. And JTK will cover off Tadpole, but they're both in the intermediate tire compared to the two behind on the wet tires. You can see already at turn 1, you barely can see behind the field. And now, both McLaren side by side. Patrick F1, I think he's gained some spots. Mintoki losing spots. Mintoki and Red Fire were side by side up to a Rouge, and it is absolutely treacherous for the drivers getting up here. And almost a few cars going off. I think that was the one in the runoff of SV for Alpine. But for the lead in the wet, Tadpole is going for it, and he can't get it. Oh, contact. Red Fire. Both McLarens Hunted ahead. Red Fire trying to squeeze his way in there on Hunted now. He's got Patrick F1. You can see a slide in the background. That was one of the Red Bulls. That was Ardell. But down the inside, Red Fire goes. Hunted goes wide. Patrick through. Jordan about to be through. This is absolutely a risky and troubling first lap. You can just see Hunted sliding the rears. It's so tough out there, Owen.
I do not think the wets for the meta, clearly shown by Red Fire Tiger's absolute destruction. He's been gapped heroically in the first sector. He is catching a wee bit now, actually. Maybe just had a disaster. And maybe the difference between the tires is very, very marginal. Is the track going to get drier, though? Because if it is, these wet runners have had a stinker. Red Fire's gained 4 positions, actually, so never mind. I'm completely lying to myself.
Yeah, a little slide there from Tadpole and Red Fire there you saw. Mintoki down 4. That was the biggest one affected of those guys in the wet tires. Shanghai down 5. An absolute horrid start for the driver born in Shanghai. But we're about to complete lap 1. And I want to show you something brand new here. Lap 8 it's supposed to lighten up apparently. Here's something brand new here when you go to the fastest lap, I think. Let me just show up. Oh, it's not showing. I think it'll show once the first car crosses the line. It will show a timer ticking from the drivers. No, it does not. Anyway, nope, it doesn't anymore. JTK leads the lap. Patrick F1 now is up into 3rd place, and I think Red Fire Tiger is starting to get challenged here from Patrick F1. May PK is into the pits. I wonder what this is about, but so far, quite a clean start. Oh, Ardell, I think he almost forced off Mintaki right there. And side by side through Rouge. Red Fire and Jordan. Oh!
That was very risky stuff, especially in these wet conditions. I'm surprised no one went parading into the grandstands.
You saw the battle for the lead. You saw the battle for 4th place. RPL Jordan has it. Red Fire Tiger still wants it, and he's almost collecting his rear wheel right there. It's so close. Minico mentioning in the chat the wets suck. I mean, they really do at this current stage and moment. And if the track is this wet, and on intermediates, I can't imagine what it'd be like on the preferred wet tires.
Yeah, I wouldn't be wanting to drive this. I haven't driven this game in the wet yet, so I'm happy I'm not driving.
Neither have I. Neither have I.
It looks painful. And yeah, you can see the wets are not optimal at the moment.
It's so tough. It's so tough out there. You can just see these drivers trying to find the right time, find the right line, find the right place to run here behind the other drivers. Patrick F1 has had a really good 2nd lap here. He's already on the back of Tadpole and using his overtake battery, funnily enough, in the wet. And he is right here on the back of 2nd place man Tadpole. This is going to be a very interesting season for Patrick F1, who's full-time in the Alpine, but right now in the McLaren, trying to go for 2nd place right here. Can't do it. He's having to stick behind the Ferrari driver. Still a battle brewing for 4th place as well. RPL Jordan keeps it. It goes all the way back to Mintoki there in 8th place. Blue Goggy is also gaining a spot in SV at the final corner. Fastest lap, Patrick F1. No shock right there. Oh, SV is around.
Yeah, baby.
Here we go. Upper Rouge ready, and let's just ride on board with the drivers and see how tough it is. Patrick F1 probably got a track limit violation right there for going all 4 wheels over the white line. We ride from the helicopter cam now as he goes for the move. Inside line on Tadpole. Tadpole breaks earlier to concede the place, and rightfully so. RPL Jordan and Red Fire Tiger both sliding into Lake Combe right there. Hunted and Ardell, that's still a close battle too. This is insane for the wet that there's this many close battles on lap 3. I would have figured it would be quite spread out, but it is not, as these guys learn the game.
JTK is just not pulling away just enough yet. And then, yeah, everyone behind him is squirreling it with each other. That's not a word, I don't care.
Oof.
Getting very squirrely as everyone in these wet conditions.
RPL Jordan has picked up the first 3-second time penalty of this game cycle. And you could see another RPL driver, RPL Ardell, running just right behind Hunted, and Hunted struggling on these wet tires now in comparison to where he was at before. It's going to dry up quite soon, but he's trying to hang it out. Oh, a big tank slapper from Hunted. Look at that nice camera angle from the grass. That's so nice. It's so nice to get more camera angles that actually show the racetrack rather than a bunch of nothing. Overtake button being used by Patrick F1, and it's another fastest lap, and he's going on quite well.
It's Mr. Patrick and his long way to Inferno. What's happened?
Way too deep at turn 1.
Oh, no.
Tadpole's gone through, and I'm not sure if he just got on the brakes too late, had a big slide, but yeah, Tadpole is into 2nd place.
You reload the stream, maybe I'm a little bit behind. This is the optimal way to commentate. It's the same way I have to.
I think there was a move further on back that might have been FBL in Shanghai. I don't really think there's much happening now as we go into lap 4, but we're going to be waiting to see when the crossover period is. Hunted getting pressurized from Ardell. Ardell is tagging his rear wheel, and there is contact. Ardell now keeping to the inside line this time. Who's going to be last of the late breakers here? Who's going to not make contact? Ardell is still making contact with Hunted. Hunted keeping ahead. Hunted sliding through. And I think Hunted will somehow keep the place. That is quite incredible there that they did not crash. And Ardell down the inside. Patrick F1 is also into the penalty box. But Hunted, oh, he makes contact once again with Ardell, the Canadian.
Hunted get a bit squirrely with the other drivers. It's classic.
This is going to get tight. This is going to get very, very tight. Ardell through. Mentoki wants a chance at this now. Add her to the equation. She's also on the wet tires, but she's went a little too deep right there. RPL Jordan now in the back of Patrick F1. SV has a 3-second time penalty. Jordan's going to send it. Is he going to complete the move, though? Oh, wheel banging. Patrick sliding. And Jordan cannot get through. Into the pit lane is Red Fire Tiger. And so is Hunted. This is very interesting from those guys to make that call now. And down the inside, late lunge. Jordan goes for it, but he just can't get the pass done. He's going to remain wheel to wheel with Patrick. And now Upper Rouge and Radion. Don't do it, guys. This is going to be tight.
Someone's
He
gonna
backs
die.
off. No one died. We're glad. Oh my god. Thrilling. Thrilling action. RPL Jordan having the inside line now for Sector 2. Is he going to send the car in there? You bet he does. He just cuts Patrick off, but Patrick wants to still have a go at it. Meanwhile, RPL Jordan takes third place over.
Maybe you said Patrick is damaged. I don't know if you already mentioned that or not.
Hunted with damage, you said? Maybe
Patrick
that's why.
with
Penny,
damage.
Oh, Patrick. Oh. Yeah, I did not notice that. Right in play. That is why Jordan wanted to get by. Yeah, I'm quite blind.
Maybe it was that third one going deep that he hit the back of JTK.
Maybe. I didn't see it come off the front wing, but interesting. Or land plate, excuse me, of the front wing. Guys in Twitch chat, very interactive tonight. You can see Valkyrie talking about the commentator's curse. Minico talking about Patrick having damage. That he was the one to point that out, besides Eoin. Matthew Wrightson talking about increased tire deg to take care of as well, and that is SV out, and that has triggered a safety car. This is going to be very interesting in terms of drivers pitting around this crossover period.
Well, I think Mentoki's been thrown a lifeline here. He's going to be able to pit and jump onto the intermediate, or the intermediates without losing too much time. Whereas the Red Fire
DK
Tiger
controls this thing by the
have
way.
been ruined.
Yeah. The top 2 stay out. The top 3 stay out. So do the top 4. Even Patrick F1 with damage staying out. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, if I'm in Tokyo, I'm pitting. She does just that. While we're under safety car, I think it's fair to talk about, like I said, the Tier 2 lineup this season. You talked about Red Bull, you talked about Ferrari, you talked about Mercedes, McLaren. Is there any team that kind of strikes your eye in terms of the best lineup, Eoin? What team would you say has that?
You know, look at the full-time lineups again, because I don't know any of them off the heart.
If I'm gonna go with anybody with a lineup right now that has the best, I think you gotta go with either Ferrari or McLaren.
Let's have a little look. McLaren of what? Well, Hunted and Bino. Yeah, that's banging lineup.
Hunted and Bino.
Yep.
Ferrari have Tadpole and Dill JG full time this season.
A really good lineup as well. So, Ardell and JTK isn't too bad.
I think that has potential.
Apart from the
sure.
worst is definitely Wavy and Minto game. I don't know what Wavy's cooking unless he's up to units on this game.
What is Patrick F1 doing? He's running alongside Jordan under the safety car and previously was just bumping him under it.
Boy.
That is interesting.
Naughty boy.
Is he upset about the damage he got earlier? Is this why he's doing this?
Mintoki's come
Or
out
is this his AI?
It's actually mesmerizing. Took him behind her pitted, I think. She jumped her
Here we had-
teammates and hunted.
Here we had FBL, Mintoki, McPK all come in. SV are the first retirement of the event, by the way, if you're just tuning in. It is preseason, so a lot of the drivers just trying to learn the new game, get used to things as well. Got the ERS change as well to factor in throughout later on in this game. That will be a big factor. Conserving energy is a lot more easier. Overtake is so powerful, it's unbelievable. Handling model will be changed. We mentioned that. Hunted still remains as a coordinator. We've also mentioned that. There's quite a few auto spin curbs around Spain I've noticed when practicing for the Tier 3 event. I'll be doing that one, so we'll have someone different on commentary for that event on Sunday. The Tier 3 races will be on Thursdays, but this one will be on Sunday, though, for the preseason event. So that shall be interesting. Patrick F1 is heading to the pit lane with the damage that he has. I'm wondering if anyone will join him. Oh, he's just clobbered the wall in the pit lane. Lovely stuff. No one will join him. All right. So it's just Patrick F1 then by himself entering the pit lane.
You can go chuck on the soft scene. But he actually has stuck on the drawers right now.
Hards, wow.
I thought I was
Okay.
joking when I said that.
Oh, interesting. You guys talking about in chat some interesting things I noticed. Talking about the Haas is also red on track map. Yes, we did confirm that earlier. That is very weird, to say the least. TB is surprised that more people didn't pit. And Miniko is right. You can notice how it says what ERS mode they're in on the bottom of the screen. That is different on this game cycle compared to last and previous ones. You can use overtake as well in qualifying, which I find very interesting. We saw a lot of drivers doing that. I think that's just going to hurt you more than help you, to say the least.
I don't think so, because the ERS gain is really heavy in this game, so you can use all your overtake in the straight. The only issue is not exceeding your ERS usage per lap. The actual battery itself is fine. It's just making sure you have that little green bar in your dash, you don't use too much of it. If you do, then you have nothing. And obviously you do not want no ERS, because that will slow you down horrifically.
Have you tried the F2 cars yet, Eoin?
I have indeed.
I like them. I have to say that before our F2 event tomorrow. I really do like them.
I'm probably really slow on them, but it was really fun.
I think the majority of our drivers do like them from what I've noticed so far. As you can see on our screen, it is still raining. We're going to go on board with GTK so you guys can see the rain a bit better under the safety car. What's Blue Goggy doing? He's just traded spots with Hunted under the safety car. We'll see if anything happens about that from the game. But yeah, I mean, track is still wet quite a bit. It's still raining, but it has died down a little bit. We'll watch as the safety car does come in this time, how things do play out. Lorenzo did say it was supposed to dry up, I believe, on lap 8. We'll find out what happens this time. Safety car is in. JTK weaving and bobbing and warming up his tires. The one who's going to have to warm up his tires most, Patrick F1. What do you think will happen from him, Eoin, as he tries to claw his way back through the field?
He's going to plummet for the start. But it does look like it's going to dry up soon. But he's still a bit too early. And I think he'll end up being a pit stop behind everyone in a lap or two. But I think time will
find
tell.
Out. That's very true. Still quite a bit of spray on the track, as you can see, but JTK is not going on the throttle just yet. We'll see when he does. It'll probably be a little bit closer toward the final chicane. He brakes for the final chicane, and now comes out of it, back on the gas, foot to the floor, green flag, back out. Ardell is in, and Blue Goggy is as well. He's going to be the one to join him. Both Red Bull Academy cars in, but diving down the inside. Jordan's going to go for it.
Oh,
turn
no!
1. Meanwhile, in the background, I think there was someone else ducking out, but Tadpole holds on to second place. It has dried up quite a bit, I must say, the track, but not a whole lot. Still a lot of spray, still a lot of standing water out there. It will still not be enough for dry tires, as we will see. Ardell and Goggy, though, still ignoring that and going to mediums. Mintucky on the straight, going by Kipu. So does Red Fire Tiger.
Patrick is losing a lot of time on the straights and on the corner. Well, more in the corners than the straights, but a lot of time lost there in the Rouge ready on area. Lost over a second. So this is very bad.
One in Shanghai. 3-second time penalty added to his name. Interesting there from him. But now the gap is quite closed up, I must say, with the top 7, as you can see. Was a little bit of a field spread there, but now it's kind of back to it. Mentaki losing time there. Both Ferraris following suit with one another. Remember, Jordan has a penalty. Tadpole does not. Born in Shanghai has been overtaken for 9th place. I don't think Patrick F1 is losing a lot of time now, but it's not like he's gaining time though either, Owen, and he's sliding a lot too. Oh, he had a... Oh, there he goes. He almost went around.
He's gone a bit too early.
Yeah. That's for sure. Temperatures are important. Cold, dry tires are bad. Interesting notes from the chat. Interesting ducking out there from Tadpole. Kippu just got hunted, and Blue Goggy has got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Kippu has been overtaken by Hunted meanwhile. And fastest lap. It's going to go to everybody, it seems like this lap. Kentucky has it. Tadpole had it.
After his little squiggle, Patrick hasn't really lost too much. Still just 5 seconds behind the Born in Mr. Shanghai. So I think he's...
Well, hold on, Owen. I think we got a move maybe about to be made. I think Tadpole is close enough to go for it, but I just don't think he is. Go ahead, sorry.
Pull for it or something? I should get
All right, well, Hunted and Kippu, they're not as close as they once were, just on that Kemmel Straight just back there. It's almost a second gap between them, and Patrick F1 has fallen behind Shanghai by now 5 seconds, interestingly enough. And ooh, Jordan with a little bit of a wiggle there. And I think Jordan's going to let Kentucky go. Nope, just going to defend that line, interestingly. Oh.
Oh, no!
What has happened to Tadpole? Tadpole is off. Hunted 3-second as well. Tadpole, has he had an issue with one of the leaders?
He just spawned by himself, I saw.
Huh. Yeah, I was distracted right there.
Yeah,
it was a delayed response.
Well, I'm not watching it.
It was
I'm
a
not
very
in the
big
game vulgar either.
Yeah, it was. I am blind. I am blind. I'm getting distracted now. It's only preseason. It's okay. Mentoki going for the move on Jordan, and gets the pass done. How about that? Right before Blanchiment.
Blanchiment. And Patrick is actually gaining time now.
Interesting.
Oh, TB just said it at the exact same time as I did, so it's clutch moments from us. And you can see, yes, everyone's chucking into the pits. Tadpole, why'd you not pit, you stupid twat?
Oof. Patrick overtakes Jordan, who's just pitted. Same with Nick PK and FBL electing to go in. They're going for the dry tires now, and this is the perfect time to do that because DRS has been activated.
Patrick is cooked. He is cooked here. He's going to be really in the hot seat now. If safety car comes out there, he is absolutely ruined.
Well, we'll find out what happens. These guys cannot afford a safety car. It is still slightly raining, but not a lot. It's interesting that the DRS has been enabled with that being said, but maybe that's a good thing. Red Fire Tiger being pressurized by Mentaki now for second place in this race. Everybody quite spread out now, besides Blue Goggy and FBL, and Kippu adds his name to the list of drivers who have a track limit penalty for multiple warnings.
Silly goose. Yeah, you can see the track limits are a lot worse in this game. And Matthew Wrightson is claiming that there is dry patches and wet patches on the track. I wouldn't know, I've not driven in wet yet, so...
Interesting. Interesting. That's something we'll have to watch out for a lot during the season when there is interchangeable conditions just like this one. Kentucky on the back of Red Fire Tiger. Which teammate's going to be the first one to duck to the pit lane and have first choice here at Mercedes? Will it be the female Korean driver or will it be Red Fire Tiger, the Frenchman? JTK is in. Red Fire Tiger is in before Mentaki can get in. Hunted in. Kippu also as well. And Tadpole, like you said, last lap didn't pit, but he's just taking the bollard with him while he heads to the pit lane. Patrick F1, fastest lap, and he's going to be the big winner from this whole situation.
He's absolutely pulled the block there, to be fair. I don't know what Mintoki's doing the double stack.
Oh, this is going to be a race out of the pit lane between JTK and RPL Jordan. Jordan just set the second fastest lap right there with Ardell, and now RPL Jordan clears JTK right there. Kipu is ahead of Make PK, but Tadpole and Hunted just barely edge out Blugagi. Wow.
They've edged him.
Here comes JTK, ducking out, going through for third place in this race. Technically a net P2 because, remember, Mintoki still is yet to pit.
She's cooked.
We'll find out. Hunted and Tadpole. A little battle there on the Camel Straight. Red Fire Tiger. He puts himself in the penalty box as well. You've got only 4 drivers in this race still without a penalty. Blugagi gets yet another track limit penalty. He's up to 9 seconds. The Chiller, is that you?
Powers.
Yellow flags. That is at the back of the field, and that is, I believe, Blugagi or FBL. One of them has just ran into trouble, and now they're in quite the battle with one another. We got JTK, though, in net P2, on the better tires, but he's got quite the threatening from behind with RPL Jordan right up his gearbox. Kentucky's in.
But time, yes, Patrick's got a 4-second gap. The cars behind him are going to be much quicker, but they're going to fight with each other in that little 3-way scrap. So Patrick needs to hope and pray, get on his knees and pray for this. That's these 3
5/10, now a second.
Become 4.
Look at that improvement.
Yeah, they need to fight each other and get involved in each other so he can pull away and win.
You can see that Patrick F1 is currently the faster driver, but these guys, you can catch them, but passing's one thing, and I think Jordan wants to get the overtake done. You saw further on behind that, Tadpole, Make PK, all those guys in that area, all squirming around. Jordan, Red Fire, all going for it. Oh, almost a squeeze in the middle from Red Fire Tiger. That could have been treacherous, and it is treacherous for JTK. The man without a penalty has been tagged. Red Fire Tiger and him both came together, and that is awful for JTK.
Well, that'll teach him to not lose his head.
Almost a collision between 2 ex-teammates. He had Tadpole and Hunted, and then Make PK wanted to put his car into the mix as well, and Hunted almost went careering into the side of him. Oh my god.
Really mastered the IndyCar. Whoa!
Lee Diffie? RPL Jordan. Another 3-second time penalty to his name. You got Make PK ducking out. There's Hunted alongside, and Make PK has done just enough to protect 9th place. These guys in Twitch chat talking about how Patrick F1 may have just pulled off a masterclass. You may be right, because the gap is 3.4 still at the end of this lap. Ardell is cooking up something as well, because although he's on 4-lap old mediums and pitted, the second earliest out of these guys, he's set fastest lap after fastest lap and taken away from Jordan quite a bit. He's up to 3rd place. Although he has the penalties, RPL Ardell is looking to do something magical. 46.3, then Ardell crosses the line. Couldn't get it this time, but Jordan finally going faster than Ardell. Now Tadpole, the next Ferrari driver, takes it back the fastest lap. We're going to see fastest laps trade quite a bit.
Dude. Track's improving horrifically, so that will be crazy. The improvement. From greasy to dry as shit.
Kipu has Tadpole going through on the Camel Straight. That is for 7th place. Tadpole going purple in the first sector. You can see how much the track is improving in terms of how much it's dried up. We got FBL, 12th place on Blugagi. Little change in position right there. Meanwhile, Red Fire Tigers close up to Ardell, and so is JTK once again. DRS for those guys will be online, and Blugagi is now up to double digits on track limit penalties. He's picked up 12 seconds now total in this race, and he has a bit of damage for good measure.
Absolute masterclass from Gogi.
But you can only learn if you're Blugagi. This is the first moments of him having this game. Just got it right before. Hunted making the overtake on Make PK further on back. But 2.8 is the gap between Patrick F1 and RPL Jordan. This is going to be an interesting fight to the end between them two. And into the bus stop. Red Fire can't get anywhere closer to Ardell. 45-5 that time. You saw battle for 8th place still brewing. 45-2 this time by JTK. 45-2 by Mintoki. They're all going faster once again. And about to be 3 wide out of the final corner right here. Kipu, Hunted, Make PK. Those are the drivers drooling it out. Hunted through, Kipu through, Make PK trying the cutback in. It's absolutely been perfect. Can he complete the move? No. He's going to use his overtake to try and keep it. They're going to be side by side to a Rouge. This could end in disaster, and somehow they keep it. You have Ardell as well has been overtaken. You have Red Fire's been overtaken. It's JTK up to 3rd place in this race.
This game going to recover from his little incident earlier. Perfect call aired by Jordan.
Yeah, I think this is going to get very interesting now by the end of this race because it's 2.1 the gap, but the guys in front of JTK all have penalties, so this is going to be very interesting to see how he can pressurize the guys in front and try to knock them off those steps of the podium. Got Mintoki on the back of Ardell for 5th place in this race. I think Mintoki might be using her overtake, and she is. We're going to see how powerful overtake is to hot lap. Ardell puts it back on medium, I think. Mintoki turned off the battery. I think Ardell's got it back on. No, he doesn't. He's got none. He's probably got a lot of good front wings right there if he's going to try to make this move on Mintoki. Ardell trying to get back up through. No one taking fastest laps this time, but Jordan is going quite faster than Patrick F1 that lap. And Ardell, you can see a little bit of a lockup right there at turn 1. Mintoki still staying ahead. And Jordan has just entered DRS on Patrick F1. The man who has quite a few F2 wins to his name has never done it in Tier 2, but now he's looking to take the race lead while Red Fire Tiger gets JTK for 3rd. But now Jordan is the brand new leader of this race. The Spanish driver is up and through into the lead, and he'll try to pull off DRS on Patrick F1 to make sure he can't clap back at this. Same with JTK and Red Fire Tiger now.
Very unfortunate. Patrick, genius plan. Could have got a win, but he's going to have to deal with the podium positions for now.
Very true.
It is very true.
Got 3rd place up for grabs. DRS not going away between the leaders either. We'll see if Patrick F1 has saved enough battery. Yes, he has, actually, in comparison to Jordan. A 40% deficit right there. Penalties, they are quite a big factor for this race. Let's just show them to you on the side of your screen since we know what tire everyone's on. Mediums for everybody, hards for Patrick F1. The only one different. Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy that only 3 drivers only got penalties.
I mean, the only thing I could think is that these guys will definitely lessen this quite a bit by round 1 as they learn the game.
Yeah.
There was just yellow flags out there just a moment ago. Something else to talk about before we get any moves made on the Kemmel Straight here in just a moment. Fastest car in straight line. We're fastest 2, Ferrari and Red Bull. The slowest 2, Aston Martin and Mercedes. Here we go once again. Patrick F1's obliterating the overtake button, and he's going around the long way. Patrick F1 is back up into the lead of this race, and he's pulled it off quite well with the battery management. How about JTK taking back over 3rd place in Red Fire Tiger? That's quite crucial toward this race. And Ardell has hit the penalty club once again. 6 seconds now added to his name. Remember Canada last season. This is a normal occurrence for Canadian as Hunted is around. Hunted is damaged. What has happened to the season 10 champion?
Prick.
Oh. Wow.
Not my,
Oh my God.
champion anyway.
FPL has gotten Bulgogi right there while that happened, but I don't think this gap for the race lead is going to change any moment. The difference, though, is we wouldn't be talking about this last game. The ERS deficit is a lot more closer now within that span of time we've passed over a lap. But you got RPL Jordan going to go for it at the bus stop chicane. DRS tactics, maybe. I think maybe Patrick wanted it, but Jordan has it. Jordan up into the lead of the race once again, but he'll have DRS down the main straight. Patrick F1. Oh, no! Oh! What's happened to him? He's at a major slide, and he's fallen out of DRS of the race leader.
How is he
That is
slid
so
there?
unfortunate.
Is he an absolute moron?
He just had so much trouble getting on traction there. Oh.
He's lost
Well,
his head, this fella.
now we got a battle for second place, and the penalties will be factored in even more. You got Mintoki, you got JTK, all those guys without penalties right now who could take some more places. Here comes JTK on the inside, through. Hunted, out, with just 5 laps remaining.
Well, JTK is now back in the driving seat to win the race, this little pre-season race. So, just over him, Patrick's gamble, obviously, with that incident in the last corner didn't pay off, and then obviously the penalty doesn't help as well. Mintoki doing a good job to not get penalties, and
Yes.
good job to make. He's not going to gain any positions as it stands.
Oh boy, look at the scrap. I think that was Ardell just dipping a wheel into the grass. Hold on, Eoin. This could get interesting here into this next corner. And there's a throwing being broken. That's Mintoki. And she's almost into the side of Patrick F1. And somehow she remains straight. And RPL Jordan, the race leader, on track. He wouldn't have been winning the race anyway with the penalties applied. But he surely won't be now. 9 seconds now to his name.
And the commentator's curse about Mintoki comes again.
Oh. Mintoki going through,
really
but she has
unfortunate.
damage.
My bad, Mintoki. Unlucky.
Patrick F1 trying the up and under to get back through. Contact. Oh, more touching. I think both Mercedes were getting involved with Patrick F1 right there. And you can just see contact. Oh, red fire. Oh, that was a lot of damage being flung up in the air from one of the end plates. It might have been Patrick. It might have been Red Fire Tiger. And I definitely think it's Red Fire Tiger. He's got a lot of damage on that car now. Ardell through as well.
We're testing out the damage model.
I think we're doing it quite a bit. Red Fire Tiger's just got a 10-second time penalty for gaining a place off track or under yellow flags. Very critical toward his race. And Red Fire Tiger almost trying to recreate a crash in the 24-hour endurance race right there by going a little aggressive on the Kemmel straight. Now with the teammate, they both make contact. Mintoki's around. Red Fire Tiger's around. Patrick F1 and Ardell, though, will take advantage. So will Tadpole.
Well, that escalated rather quick.
You said we're testing the damage model in this game. I think we just did.
Testing the driver's sanity as well, because clearly some of them have lost their head.
Yep, and Patrick F1, I don't think he's done at this as well. He's in a better spot he would be in compared to if he pitted the same lap as these guys did. But right now, he's battling to stay on the podium on track. At least he'll take it based on the penalties being applied with Ardell. But he would lose it based on Mintoki taking over another spot, being penalty-free. However, she's got quite a bit of damage on that car, so we'll find out how this affects her. While that's happening, Eoin, our race lead is going to be at stake soon. JTK is within striking distance of Jordan. I think Kipu just got red fire, and now Tadpole ahead of Patrick, and gonna get the upper edge here in just a moment on Ardell. We'll run on board with him, and he sends him off! Oh no, Ardell! Oh! Big incident.
Yes, I have seen several TikTok videos of this game's contact model. Very interesting. Very F1 2015-esque.
Straight.
Is someone going to go flying?
I don't think so. We're going to be okay. Tadpole is ahead and through. That's FBL around, by the way. It vibrates the game when you change the wing in the spectator menu. Interesting. Well, Ardell's teammate is taking the race lead. JTK is up and into it. And again, 3 wide, Mintoki into the grass. It does the pass in the grass. What the heck?
The grass pass.
Oh my god. This is absolutely wild. It is. Name it what you will with the chaos that has been transpiring, but these drivers are just learning the game. I'm sure it'll be much more cleaner at round 1 in about a month or a few weeks ahead of time, but wow. Oh my god. I mean, she's got the podium right now on track, and she's even going to take another spot here in RPL Jordan with the way things stand. Yellow flag. Jordan is out! Oh my god, it's a virtual safety car! Jordan has binned it! That's heartbreak for the Ferrari man! Oh my god.
Oh, what a stupid bastard.
That's maybe my 3rd commentator curse so far this game. I think
I
we
think
had quite a few to put into a video.
Stop talking.
Maybe I will. It's still a virtual safety car, but we've got a safety car on track, though. Will it be upgraded by the end of this lap? JTK is into the pit lane, and Mentaki has picked up a 3-second time penalty under the safety car. Oh, my word. It is a full safety car. It's not showing it yet, but I think everybody is into the pit lane except for Tadpole. Wow. Late race drama. It's still not showing a full safety car yet. The safety car is on the track.
Classic. Interesting.
Huh. Nice. JTK stayed. Oh no, JTK did pit. Sorry, JTK just was the first one out of the pits. Excuse me. He's on soft tires. I know what difference that makes. I really don't like how it vibrates my controller whenever I watch these guys get a front wing changed. That's not fun.
This doesn't vibrate anything else.
Vibrating atmosphere. Will this be a 2-lap shootout? Well, in former games, that was the case. Find out if it still remains that way. We've got a lot of things to remain.
The safety car.
Got a lot of things to learn here. Excuse me. Sorry about that.
The game will end on a safety car because I don't think it's.
I don't think it will. I'd be interested to see if we ever get a 1-lap shootout, though.
That would be really cool.
Don't tell Lewis Hamilton fans, Owen.
And it's ending!
Oh no, anyway.
Lap car overtake the safety car, and it's ending!
Oh, wow. While we're under the safety car, there's 15 of you watching, 20 at one point during the stream. Let's go over the car performance so far this game, which will surely need an update. We got Red Bull, Ferrari, then Mercedes, McLaren, Aston Martin running out the first half of the field. Then Williams, who are shockingly fast. Same with Sauber. Alpine back there, no surprise. V-Carb and Haas, though, they're quite slow to say the least. Interesting. That will probably need an update. They'll probably go to 6th fastest, I'm sure.
Surely.
Yeah. Straight line speed, here we go. We got Ferrari, Red Bull, Williams, Sauber. Safety car is in. Then the equal car, right in 5th. Alpine, McLaren, Haas, V-Carb, Aston Martin, and Mercedes. 353 kph the fastest, with 346 kph the slowest. We'll see how that all goes throughout this game cycle. What gets changed with this? Not, I know the handling model will be, but right now, will we see a change in lead on track and on penalties as we end this race? Only 2 drivers do not have penalties. Shout out to Make PK, who we've not talked about a lot. 5th place, Tier 3 full-time, potentially having a chance here for a podium finish. Tadpole the leader. He controls things on this restart. We'll find out when he chooses to go. But right now, he does not have any indication to going until we exit the chicane. And now he's going right before the chicane. He may have caught people off guard by doing that. Green flag back in the air. 2-lap shootout to end the first social race on this game. And it's Tadpole in control, but JTK has it on penalties.
Yeah. Tadpole's going to get absolutely rinsed there in these 10-lap mediums now. So take a shot every time Tadpole gets overtaken and he gets 2 laps.
That'll be an interesting game to play, but he's also playing the battery game. He's not gaining any time with the battery at all. You see JTK now turning on the jets and going for the race lead. JTK is back in it. He'll regain the top spot. Tadpole's a sitting duck. Here comes Patrick F1 down the inside. Side by side at the corner. Now Patrick F1, they're leaning on each other. They're making contact. And Patrick F1 is through on Tadpole. There's your 2 drinks to take, Owen.
Yeah,
there's 2 cars who've overtook
I'm absolutely
Tadpole.
hammered already.
Oh, our leader made a lockup, And he's got caught by Patrick F1 now. Here he comes.
Kill him, Patrick. Kill
Not
him.
close enough. That was a crucial mistake from JTK getting stuck on the curb right there, heading in a no-name, and Patrick F1 will be right there to pounce. Mintoki right there, Make PK ducking out in the braking zone, and add FBL to another list of drivers picking up multiple penalties. Well, I have 1 lap to go this time. We'll find out if Patrick F1 can capitalize. He's right there on JTK. He's sitting in behind. He's going for it now. He realizes he can't get this move done any later, because if he goes earlier like he is now, he'll get eaten up alive. If he goes for it later, you see Tadpole and Mintoki right there in the background. 1 lap to go this time. Born in Shanghai gets added to another list of drivers picking up multiple penalties, but DRS is enabled. That'll be a new thing on this game with final lap DRS. But Patrick F1 is not going for it. Mintoki's going for it way too deep and almost clobbered the McLaren driver.
Oh my goodness. Mintoki's
Massive
lost red
woes
there.
from the Korean. But now, Mintoki, Kippu all close to cars in front of them. JTK seems like he's sailing away with this. Barely any battery left. Patrick F1 using all the bits he has left too. Mintoki and Red Fire, another trade in places on the Campbell Straight as well. And now, oh no, the 2 teammates again are going at it. Red Fire Tiger on the inside. Oh, dipping a wheel into the gravel. That's not going to go good for you, Red Fire, but he's still going to go for this move on the inside, wheel to wheel.
Well, opponent's taking 2 shots at the moment. Will Ardell make it 3?
We'll find out on this final lap, and that's a car off. That's the Alpine of Kippu going way wide and going to get all wrong. But right now, Ardell is trying to take this podium on track. He's not going to get it on penalties from the looks of things, but he's put up a great performance in terms of his pace so far from the looks of things, the Red Bull driver. 3-second time penalties for quite a few guys in the mix of things up there. It's going to look like it's going to be JTK, then maybe Make PK, the 2 brothers. But will anything change besides that? Will the 2 brothers, for the first time ever, although it's a preseason event, be 1-2 when this thing ends? Patrick F1 is using every bit of battery to make sure he doesn't get overtaken on penalties. The vice champion from last season, although it's a preseason event, he's come swinging ahead of season 13, who won the preseason event in Spa. JTK does it. But second place is going to go to Patrick F1 over Make PK. Although Patrick F1 left the session early, rage quitting, it will go to Patrick F1 over Make PK, who was 3rd place. But for the first time in RPL, although it's a preseason event like we said, the 2 brothers are both on the podium.
That's an absolute
And that's
stellar.
quite cool to see.
He's not driving for Red Bull, he's actually driving for Aston Martin. Meek.
It's his favorite team.
Yeah.
That's a new thing as well out of the game that we've not talked about, the F1 fan zone thing. Here are your podium celebrations. Oh, a backflip! Ooh, that's cool. That's nice. JTK, all I've got to say is save it for the championship later this season, because he's going to be the favorite, Eoin. Although he didn't have quite the cleanest of races, he was the one who came out on top in this preseason event over Patrick F1 and Make PK. That's an interesting podium.
It's a very odd podium with a brother 1-2. I don't know if that's probably the first time in RPL history there's been a brother 1-2, to be fair.
I think it's 1-3 when we get Patrick F1's P2 reinstated after he left the session a bit early.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I don't see final results on my screen because, for those of you who are not aware, I'm on old gen. So this is going to be a very, very tough game and a very tough time for getting results and going over them at the end. But I can tell you our top 5 is listed as this. JTK, Patrick F1, then Make PK right up there. How about a return for him in RPL doing quite well? Tadpole, then Red Fire. Outside the top 5, we had Mintoki. We had RPL Ardell, Kippu. And then I think the last points runners were Shanghai, and unless Blugagi got overtaken by FBL at the end, it was FBL over Blugagi or Blugagi over FBL for the 10th place position. But Eoin, Closing thoughts on the end of
Well,
our
it
first
doesn't look
social
too
event
bad.
in 24?
We're mainly just trying to these preseason races are just to try the new game, give everyone a chance to show the performance in the game and see if there's any issues with the game. And see if it's online so see if they have any real major issues. It's more of just the crashing model or whatever the word is. The how that works is a bit poor. Um, you can see people have a small collision and it has a major incident at times. And then I was saying earlier, TikTok and stuff. You see all these videos of the cars going absolutely flying to the sky, like taking orbit, thinking they're part of SpaceX with Elon Musk. So hopefully that's not an issue in any of our races, but it would be absolutely mesmerizing to see it from a spectator view. To be fair, if someone just went absolutely parading into the side of someone's car.
Yeah, but we haven't had a flip since Bourbon Boy in Spa back in Season 9 F1, so maybe we can see one in this game with the interesting crash model. That would be crazy. I want to just go over two things before we end off the stream. Here are some livery changes that are on this game that are quite massive, or team name changes. You can't toggle unless you...
I don't know why they've taken that away.
The whole thing. I know, I hate that. The Ferrari is quite a massive upgrade. I know it's still red. It's always going to be red, but quite different in terms of the way the number is, in terms of design a little bit. It is beautiful. We've got the McLaren, which is probably better this way. I think it's one of the best McLaren cars in the last few years we've got. That's just my personal opinion. We've got Alpine as well, which is quite different, with a lot more black, a lot more interesting shades of pink. Williams Racing, the interesting thing I noticed from them in the spectator cam when doing a lot of open lobby races is that from a distance this car looks black, so you could tell that's why it's one I'm including on the list of cars that have changed. You can see why it looks black from a distance, the Williams car.
Very navy.
One of the things we'll go over as well as the Visa Cash App Racing Bull car. We're going to call this V-Carb on the stream because I still want to separate RB from V-Carb because this is the RB, Racing Bull. But for me, I'm going to stick with V-Carb, I think, on this game. It looks like a basketball jersey with the way the number is. You got Toro Rosso looking like colors here with the V-Carb. And you've got, as well, the Kick Sauber. I'm going to probably get with a bad joke this game with that kick because if you are performing bad in the Sauber, you might end up kicked. Black and green. But
actually,
yeah, very nice car.
Sirloin steak, well done, medium rare F1 team.
Yeah, we'll maybe ask that on one of these streams upcoming. And the Haas. The Haas looks a little different. Not a lot different, but a little different. And just enough for me to include this in there, especially the number. The number looks a lot better. The way it is. Reese Dainty had asked in chat, I think it was, any driver anomalies in testing. Owen, what do you think?
Not
gotta search what
really,
that
because it's not really easy to tell, because some people just need to acclimatise to the game. But I'd say no so far. No. A lot of penalties for extending track limits. You're all horrible. Stop doing it. Other than that, it's alright.
I think the thing I noticed with track limits is a lot of drivers will have to get used to it, that's for sure. But the ERS thing was very interesting because a lot of people felt, especially with what Minico showed in the Discord server a few weeks ago, on the backstraight at Texas, overtake versus none was a massive difference, but you saw in those final 2 laps, it really didn't make as big of a difference. It was very inconsistent. I think that's one of the bigger surprises, Reese. As for what was to be expected, JTK up there, I think it's clear now more than ever that he's the favorite entering this Tier 2 season. Tadpole as well, who finished 3rd in the championship last season. I'm sure he's one who will come swinging with a better car now. Yeah, I mean, it'll be very interesting to see how these guys adapt to the game. They've got quite a bit. We got more preseason races coming up. We've got tomorrow F2 at Qatar at the old F2 time. Just move forward 45 minutes. F1 at Silverstone tomorrow as well for preseason for both those guys. And I will be making a one off here in Tier 3, it looks like. Doing preseason in Spain, filling in for Mr. Faded Knights, a new driver who does not have the game just yet. But that'll be fun to watch out. And I will let you guys know how the Kicksauber feels and reveal all their secrets right there. Oh, poor me. But yeah, should be very interesting to see preseason continue for the rest of the weekend and next week in Tier 2 as well. Lots of events coming up, lots of content on the RPL YouTube as well. Cookies documentary, race highlights from the previous Canada season in RPL on Canada Week for Real Life F1. Lots of things to look forward to, so make sure you tune into our socials and keep an eye out for that. Either way, Owen, you were going to say?
I'm just singing the Canadian national anthem.
Oh, I don't blame you for that. That'll be interesting when we see Minico or Odell win a race this season. But, yeah, either way, your two commentators. Until next time, Ryan Searles, Eoin McMoran, signing off. We'll see you next time for the preseason events, whether that's F2 tomorrow, F1 tomorrow, or Tier 3 Sunday, or Tier 2 next week. Until next time, folks, have a good one. We'll see you then.
Foil.
Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.